Tonight, James draws on a board, Richard waves at a man, and I run away from a table. Hello, everybody! Hello and welcome! Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, I'm often asked, well, and sometimes, well, actually, I was once asked by one person why we review fast Vauxhalls so rarely on Top Gear. Simple answer, they're terrible rubbish. Vauxhall, however, has just introduced a new fast Astra and says it isn't terrible rubbish. It's called the VXR, and on paper it certainly appears to be terrible rubbish. Because what they've done, bless them, is fit under the bonnet of a front-wheel drive Vauxhall Astra a 276 horsepower engine. That's as daft as fitting the heart of an elephant in a mouse. See, the thing is, the front wheels have to do the steering, and that's a big, important job. And asking them to handle 276 horsepower as well means you have to do some very, very clever engineering. Now, not that long ago, Vauxhall was making the not at all cleverly engineered Vectra, the most dreary, uninspiring car in all of human history. Oh. It really was a cure for ADD. If you put a hyperactive child in there, he'd be asleep in 3 minutes flat. I mean, look at it. It's as gripping as a Victorian novel, as stylish as a taxman's trousers. I always got the impression they'd designed it in a coffee break. Oh, quick, the boss wants a new car. Oh, there we are, there's one. Give it some fancy door mirrors, it'll look like we made an effort. But they hadn't! So the idea that a company which did this now thinks it has the technical ability to put 276 horsepower through the front wheels of a hatchback is laughable. The thing is, though, amazingly, they've pulled it off. It has a clever front diff, and unlike a normal Astra, it has hydraulic power steering. It also has the same sort of dampers that Ferrari use, and, James tells me, it has separate hub carriers, which is interesting. Plainly then, they've spent more time and effort on the front end of this car than they did on the whole of the Vectra. And the rewards are huge. There's no torque steer, there's no fuss, there's no drama. The power is just there when you want it. It might not be the most fun car in the world. It actually feels quite heavy, but my God, it is quick. And best of all, despite extremely wide, low-profile tyres, it has a comfortable ride as well. If you like being uncomfortable, you can push this sport button here, which firms everything up. And if you want to feel like you're falling down a rocky escarpment, you can push this one. If you do that, watch, ready? Look, all the dials glow red to warn you that your neck's about to snap. Probably better to leave those buttons alone, really. This is a damn good car. It's solid, good-looking, and very, very fast. Plus, because it's a hatchback, it's practical as well. There are, as I see it, only two problems. Number one, at just shy of £27,000, it is quite expensive. And number two, when you're asked at parties what you're driving these days, you're going to have to start by saying, Perhaps then we should look at the Astra's chief rival, the Ford Focus ST. This has 5 doors, so it's more practical than the Vauxhall. It's £5,000 cheaper. And at parties you can say you own a Ford without blushing. But it simply isn't as nice to drive. Instead of taming the front end with proper mechanical engineering like Vauxhall did, Ford has used electronic systems, and the truth is, they're not as good. You can sense the electrons doing their absolute best to keep things neat and tidy, but you can also sense them failing. There's torque steer, there's understeer, and then there's lift-off oversteer. There. It is a smorgasbord of waywardness. I also have to say the Ford has a particularly unpleasant interior. And it doesn't look very good from the outside either. Nowhere near as good as the Astra, that's for sure. So, as an enthusiast car, I have to say, the Vauxhall is better. But this is Top Gear, and I can't very well sit here and say, hey, petrol heads, the best hot hatchback is a Vauxhall Astra. That'd be like a travel person saying, hey, holidaymakers, the best place for your summer vacation is Belgium. So, let's keep going and look at another option. The Renault Megane 265. This is the darling of all the car magazines. They love it. And it's easy to see why. Just tell this car was designed by a team of people who really know what enthusiasts want when they're on the track. It's sublime. They've even fitted it with a special readout that shows you how fast you went from 0 to 60, how fast you did the standing quarter, your lap times, how much power you're using, how much brake you're using, your throttle position, a graph, an extreme graph, your G-meter. The Stig just loves this. He's been running around all morning squawking and clutching at his tinkle. And I have too, if I'm honest. It's just an amazing combination of nimbleness and brute force. There's no doubt that it's more exciting than the Vauxhall and less wayward than the Ford, and faster than both of them. To show you how much faster, I engaged sport mode and pulled up for a drag race. Watch and learn, Vauxhall. What? Come on! Come on! Faster! Come on! That was not supposed to happen. Much to my surprise then, the Renault was the slowest. And when you bear equipment levels in mind, it's the most expensive too. And it's also the least nice. Sitting in here is a bit like sitting in Eel's gloomy place. It's all very dark, and everything you touch and everything you use feels flimsy, like it will come off or break at any moment. And the back's very cramped, and the ride's very hard. And this seat is very low down and very snug and gives you an idea of what it would be like to be buried alive. And look at this. You can't wear a pink shirt or it'll clash. So, while this may be the nicest car to drive on a track or a deserted moorland road, it would not be the nicest to live with on a day-to-day basis. That means we arrive at a rather worrying conclusion, because if I were to choose one of these three cars to drive home in tonight, it would be the...
What happened there?
There, the camera broke.
Did it?
Yeah, no, it just literally broke there.
Did it?
Yeah.
And what were you about to say?
I can't remember.
You were about to say the Vauxhall.
A bit. No, it is a surprisingly likeable car. It just is.
No, but isn't that a bit like saying Piers Morgan is a surprisingly likeable man? But in the end, fundamentally, he's still Piers Morgan, isn't it?
Awful man. Yes, no, it is a bit like... It is, I know what you mean.
But look, hold on a minute, because the Ford is £5,000 cheaper. It's the most practical with the most doors, and we've just seen it's the fastest.
Yeah.
Buy now that.
There is a lot to commend the Ford, you're right.
I like the Renault, actually.
Oh, God.
Oh, this is brilliant buyer's advice, isn't it? I'd have the Ford, you'd have the Renault, and he'd have the Piers Morgan.
Yeah, I know how we can sort this out. The tame racing driver. Some say he contains 47% horse. And that to concentrate more on his work here, he has resigned this week from his other job in Rome. All we know is he's called the Stig. And they're off. Sluggish start from the Ford, and it soon bites and finds its stride on the way to the first corner. And it's the Renault that's looking twitchy into there. The other two nicely controlled and gripping hard. see Stig still listening to national anthems in a cacophony of patriotic noise. All tracking cleanly around Chicago, now spooling up the turbos for the run to Hammerhead. Hard on the brakes, might see some mania from the Focus here. But no, almost threatening to cock a back wheel, and the Renault just scampers away like a cheese-crazed sport monkey. Wow, a stack of Stigs there. Now, follow through, and yes, the Focus is getting out of shape, quickly pulls it back together again. All were quick through the tyres. 2 corners left. The Vauxhall appears to be very composed. The Renault looking bumpy on the way in. It is the most track-ready car here. And here they come up to Gambon. No dramas at all, and across the line.
I have the times here, and they are not that fast. The Ford Focus did it in 1:29.6. The Vauxhall Astra did a 1:28.3, and the Renault Megane, the most track-focused of them all, did a 1:27.7. So therefore, the conclusion is, if you want a relatively inexpensive, fun car, buy the Toyota GT86.
We're really not much good at that consumer advice thing, are we? Anyway, we must now do the news.
Yes, and it's bad news. Dacia have got their name wrong. Have you seen the car ads they've been doing? They keep referring to themselves as Dacia.
No, I think that's because that's how you say it in Romania where it's built.
Hey, you know, there's another labelling problem they've got. Because I was reading up on the new Sandero, it says it's got 90 horsepower. Now, with everything that's been going on, how do we know that isn't cow power?
Yeah. Good point.
Because those abattoirs that are supposed to have got the model are in Romania.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Apparently.
And we went to Romania once, so we did see a lot of people riding around on cows, rounding up horses.
Yeah, and all their farmers complaining about getting up early to milk the horses.
Exactly.
It's a bore.
So it is a 90 cow power car. We've established that. Good.
Now, on this show, we've always said you can't be a proper petrol head until you've owned an Alfa, which has always been a bit of an embarrassing problem for me, because I haven't. But that might be about to change with this, the Alfa Romeo 4-seat, little 2-seater, 1.8-litre turbocharged engine mounted in the middle, chassis made of carbon fibre.
Well, at least it won't rust.
No, they'll find a way.
Really?
Yeah, well, you know, they'll have bought cheap Russian carbon fibre that's somehow oxidised. You know what Alphas are. How much is it?
It's going to cost between 40 and 50,000, something like that.
I've got a bit of a problem with that, I have to say. I don't think the looks are quite right.
Hey, it's gorgeous.
I think it's a bit too tall.
Exactly, it is. I'll tell you how it does look good, though, is if you see the plan view, we've got one of those. Now, that,
yes,
I think is good. It's almost a
That's
square.
a view Hammond will never
Oh,
have.
come on, please.
Open goal.
Kind of was, yeah, all right.
Now, the Ford Mustang we featured last week in the race across Europe, OK? That seems to have captured the hearts and minds of everybody. I mean, really...
Everywhere I've been, all week, people have been talking to me about that.
Yeah, non-stop. Well, big news. Ford has announced, because they've never sold the Mustang officially in Britain, OK, since 1964, they've announced that the next generation of Mustang coming next year will be built with right-hand drive and will be sold in Britain.
About time. Brilliant, good news.
There is, however, a tiny bit of bad news.
What?
Well, the V8 version will be sold in America, but because we're only British, all we can have is a 2-litre EcoBoost engine.
Oh, for God's sake! Do they think we want that?
I can't understand their logic, because, I mean, if you want a Mustang, it's because you want a big V8 muscle car. There's no other reason for buying one.
Precisely.
So if you want a 2-litre EcoBoost car, you're going to buy a Golf diesel.
Not a Mustang.
It's like saying, I formed a punk band. We've got the cellos. Except for Sebastian, he has a harp. Nobody wants a harp in a punk band. Nobody wants a 2-litre EcoBoost engine in a bloody Mustang.
You can keep it, we don't want it.
Yeah, you just keep it. Keep it. Now, the most important news of the week. As you may have noticed, modern cars now are being given electronic handbrakes rather than a lever, OK? Now, this is a problem because you can't do a handbrake turn with an electronic button.
And this is bad news, because handbrake turns are an essential part of male development, because, as we all know, the handbrake lever is connected directly to a girl's sexual appetite. It is. When you're 17, it is.
You know it is. You see it in the animal kingdom. A peacock has his feathers. The young man has his handbrake.
Exactly.
They do the same job.
Yeah.
And if you have a button, it doesn't work.
No.
I can remember my first attempt at seduction with the handbrake when I was 17 years old. I was going to pick up this girl called Liz from outside a pub, and I had it all planned. I would go in and I'd get on the handbrake and slew it round like the Italian job, and the rest was a formality, obviously. I went through the gate quite hot, pulled on the lever, and that was when the cable snapped. But I think it was because I'd spent the previous day practising, you see, and I'd...
Only you would practice your handbrake turn
but
ready
you-
for a
you
day.
have to.
I wish
Your
I
bow
had.
tie. What?
No, I remember taking a girl called Kathy home one night at 17 in my mum's Audi, and she lived in the middle of a field, and I do mean right in the middle of a field, no tracks or anything.
Was she called Ermintrude? Did she wear a nice big bell?
No, she wasn't a cow or a horse.
No.
So anyway, I'm going down the grassy hill to the house and thought, I know what'll tip her over the edge. Car pirouetted straight through her dad's hedge.
Was she impressed?
Well, no, I know she was, because she pulled a face that was exactly like this.
That's the face. No, that's the face they pull in that part of the mating ritual. I know because I have seen that face. When I was a young man, 17, borrowed my dad's car, diesel Astra Estate, and I was giving Katie from college a lift home. She lived in a farm down farm tracks, and I'd already warmed her up with a bit of rally driving. There was already a sexual tension in the car. And I'll seal the deal with the handbrake lever, yanked it on, slewed round, hit a rock, and she pulled that exact...
What, the...
Oh, sometimes girls say, what did you do that for?
That's it.
But what they're actually saying is, I'm ready.
Oh,
But I never got...
What?
I never got that face from Liz, because as far as she was concerned, she didn't know I tried to do a handbrake turn, because I just got that twang. It was any twang I got on that evening, actually. But as far as she could see, I just parked badly the wrong way round and just got out of the car. She just thought I was an arse.
I think I know why they're doing it. It's to cut down on unwanted teenage pregnancy.
Yeah. And it could work. It's a clever
It
thought.
will probably work, but it'll also cut down on the future of mankind.
I think it's irresponsible.
No, because if you think about it, if a man can't use a handbrake to pull a girl, what's he going to do?
There's going to be a lot of frustrated men around.
You may have to talk to her.
No! No!
Car makers, please stop it.
You're meddling with forces unseen and more powerful than you.
Can we get back to cars?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, Peugeot, as we know, are the worst-driven cars on the road. They're always doing 40 in the outside lane. They're always in your way.
But now there is a new car from Peugeot. We have it here in the studio. It's called the Onyx. It looks absolutely fantastic, and you will notice that some of the bodywork is made from copper, just like the boiler tubes on a Gresley A4 Streamliner Pacific locomotive.
Yes, James, yes.
And it's actually untreated copper, so over time it will turn green, unless a scrap metal merchant removes it in the middle of the night.
Inside, they've continued the theme of using unusual materials. So the dashboard here, that's made out of recycled newspaper. I'm guessing they'll have used the Guardian for everything on the left and the Telegraph for everything on the right. Actually, the newspaper's good because it means there's no need to Bluetooth your phone to it. The dashboard will already have listened to your messages from it.
The engine is a 680 horsepower V8 turbo diesel hybrid, and that means the top speed in the outside lane of 40.
Anyway, this is the future, perhaps, but now we must return to the present because we have some important information. The Kia C''D, which we use as our reasonably priced car, has been updated, and the new version is taking the world by storm.
This is it. It's only been on sale for 8 months and already it has won the coveted Northern Car of the Year award.
A chap called Derek Grocott, who's vice chairman of the Northern Group of Motoring Writers, said it had impressed the judges with its comfort, value, reliability, quality, and its 7-year warranty. But this is Top Gear, and we're interested in, well, all of that, obviously, but rather more besides.
So now, let's see how well it does at all the things which matter to us.
Now, of course, there's only one man we can turn to for an answer. Matt LeBlanc, the fastest star we've ever had in our reasonably priced car. Of course, Matt lives in Los Angeles, but luckily he appreciated the importance of the question.
First, the old car.
Old versus new. The age-old question.
And now, the new version.
Ah, that new car smell, huh?
So, there we are.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Anytime.
With Matt gone, I moved on to a test I could handle myself.
Well, I'm coming up now to a row of parked cars in a top-of-the-range C''D, which has this little button down here. Now, if I push it, sensors start to scan the gaps to see if any of them are big enough for me to park in. What about this gap here? I don't think that's big enough. Does the car agree? It'll bong if it thinks it's big enough. Nope, it didn't like that. What about this one? There it is. Now, that's very impressive, but what it does next is even better, because if I put it in reverse, I'm told this will go into that gap with no steering input at all from me. And to see if that's true, I'm going to wear a blindfold, OK? I can now see nothing at all. Here we go. Easing it backwards. Hands not on the wheel. Oh, my God, it's turning. Oh, now this is spooky. I'm going to get some beeps to tell me when I'm close to the car behind. There we are. Then I put it in drive. This... This is weird now. If I take this off and I'm parked, I shall be amazed.
So now let's consider some rather more important questions.
Yes.
Well, we plugged a lead into the auxiliary socket and asked a local guitarist to try it out. He seemed quite impressed. So far then, the little Kia is passing all our tests and passing them well. But I know what you're thinking.
This is a big problem, because if you have your container of water for the eel and even a small amount of sodium, I've only got 100 grams here, and the two were to come into contact with one another, the results could be catastrophic, as I shall now demonstrate.
Time and time again, we hear about eel and sodium salesmen who are going about their business when all of a sudden their car explodes.
To make sure that doesn't happen in the seed, special segregated trays are fitted underneath the boot floor, so you can have your sodium in one tray separated from the water, into which I'm now going to place eel. There we go. No, don't jiggle about. You'll get water on the sodium. That's what happened to your mum. Stay. Good eel. Excellent. Right, now we'll just close the boot floor. That really is an intelligent piece of design.
So now let's look at another vital issue that was not addressed by Mr. Growcock.
Yes, he can. And he managed to do that without getting any more blood or oil on his shirt. Yes, it is. A mid-range 1.6-litre Kia is 17,195. A mid-range 1.6-litre Focus, 17,200. So, for the price of the Focus, you can have a Kia plus £5 to spend on... £5 worth of things?
Of course, there was a time when Kias were cheaper than their European rivals because they were very nasty. But those days are gone.
This really is not nasty at all. I think it's good looking on the outside, it's good looking on the inside as well. It's got sophisticated independent rear suspension, so you can stick it into a corner, pretty confident that you'll come out okay on the other side. It's well equipped, and it's passed nearly all of our tests with flying colours.
The Kia C''D then. Good enough for Mr. Growcock and good enough as well for Top Gear.
Very thorough. A lot of information there.
A lot of important information.
Yeah, absolutely. But for me, the most impressive thing was that parking system.
Oh, I know, that is uncanny. Although I should say, in fairness, you can also get that system on Fords and Volkswagens and Toyotas these days.
Anyway, the thing is, between you, Mr. Growcock, Eric Clapton,
Bruce Willis.
and Matt LeBlanc.
Yeah.
That is the Kia completely covered.
No, not quite. Because there is one more important question we have to deal with.
Is there? Is there really? Is it can a badger drive it?
That's quite a good idea, but no. It's can you play rugby in it?
Rugby.
Yeah, no, rugby. It's, if you're watching in America, rugby's a bit like American football, only it's played by men.
And you're going to try and play it in a car.
Yes, it is one of the most ambitious things we've ever attempted, and we'll see how it does later on. Now, though, it's time to put a star in our reasonably priced car. Now, my guest tonight is a young chap from Hertfordshire who recently got a new Mercedes and wants to come and tell us all about it. Now, normally, we'd tell him to get lost, but we decided to make an exception on this occasion because, well, his name, ladies and gentlemen, is Lewis Hamilton! You're back! You're back!
Good to see you.
Lewis is among us. Have a seat. Have a seat.
It's good to be back.
That's it. Obviously, the first question is the big one.
Yeah.
You have moved from McLaren to Mercedes. Is that not a bit like moving from Manchester United to West Ham?
Well, firstly, thanks for the warm welcome, everyone. How you doing?
Don't change the subject.
Good to be back. Yeah, no, it's a big change for me, obviously, but I'm really, really excited about it. You know, everyone is criticising it and everyone has their own opinions, but, you know, for me, I've been at McLaren since I was 13. It was a long, long period there. And, you know, I wanted to change. I'm a risk taker. That's how
There's a risk and a risk, because McLaren have won, what, 182 races? Mercedes has won
Yeah.
1 in 5 years. So what makes you think...
Well, they won the championship, didn't they?
Well, it was actually
It was
Brawn.
Brawn.
Well,
Mercedes.
technically not. Have they told you that? No, we've won. We've won. It was...
No, you're right. You're right. They've really struggled the last few years. But I think what it is, you know, when the rules came out in 2009, everyone came out with a design of a car, and they started... And every year after that, it's an evolution of that car. And they started off with on the wrong foot, and they've just been on the wrong foot since then.
There's one of the things I thought. You had to do a lot of PR work, I think, at McLaren, didn't you? Which, I mean, everybody knows that's dreadful.
Yeah.
You buy this terrible thing that sponsors our car, and is there going to be less of that? With
A lot less, yeah.
A lot less?
Yeah.
That's good enough. Why didn't you just say, because I have to do less standing around talking rubbish?
It's not that. It was just there was so many good things about the opportunity to go somewhere where they're struggling and hopefully be a part of something that's going to get somewhere, become great. Michael did it years ago with Ferrari, and there's no other driver that's done that, really, so I want to do something like that.
So we needn't expect to see you leading everybody round from pole position
No,
to...
definitely. You definitely shouldn't expect that this year.
Because initial testing's not been completely successful so far.
No, it wasn't good. Brake failure in my 14th lap.
What's pretty fast?
Yeah, well, I was at the end of the back straight going into turn 6, and
this is where
hit the
that's-
brakes at like 180 miles an hour, 190, and then nothing happened. Just went straight into...
So when you put your foot on the brake pedal and you're going 180 and nothing happens, poo?
No, you do swear, though. You think, oh,
Do you have time to think of a swear word?
yeah, you do. And you have time to brace.
Do you?
Yeah, so I was going towards the wall, and I just remember just holding on for dear life, knowing that was going to hurt. And
Did it hurt?
it did, yeah. But particularly my legs. For some reason, I don't know. I went in straight ahead, but my legs seem to hurt when I go straight into a wall.
Well, it does. Now, I do know what I need to talk to you about. The handbrake in the modern car. Have you ever thought, if I pull this,
I'm sure I have. in the first years as I was driving, I'm sure.
But we were discussing this earlier, and it is one of the weirdest things, because I think we're all fairly clear, girls don't like men who do handbrake turns, but we think they do.
Yeah, my girlfriend loves it.
Does she?
I have a good story about handbrake turns. I was years ago, and I was at a karting race in Italy with Nico as my teammate. Actually, so it's 2000. And me, my dad, and Keke Rosberg were on the way to the track. And my dad was driving down this country lane, which off the edge of the road drops down into a field, and it's like a meter drop. Keke all of a sudden just pulls the handbrake while my dad's driving. And my dad doesn't really know how to drive that well. he thinks he's a great driver, but, you know, and he was not expecting it.
He's not here to argue.
Lost the back end of the car and put it down into the ditch, and we had to leave it there and walk to the track.
Well, there wasn't even a girl in the car. Who was Keke trying to impress?
I don't know.
Your dad!
My dad, yeah.
Keke's gay! And on that bombshell... now, I know that you've been very much looking forward to coming back here.
Yep, I have.
But you have been here before.
Yep, 2008, right?
Now, most guests do a lap, take the weather on the chin, whatever it may be, snow, ice, rain, and then go away. You didn't do that, though. You were cross, weren't you, about your...
Yeah, well, I wasn't happy that it was raining, and, well, it was wet.
I'm told that you took our producer round the back and a deal was done that you could come back and try again when the track was dry.
Yep.
I mean, this was a bloody quick time, 1:44, and it was wet. But it did
No,
annoy
wet and oily.
Oily, was
Get
it?
it right, yeah.
Racing driver
said-
excuses, but was it wet? I thought that was always said wet. It's wet and oily.
Wet and oily, he said.
Where did
He
the
said
oil
someone
come
in the
from?
last corner dumped some oil, like they blew a cut down.
It would come out of Hammond's hair. Obviously, thorn in your side here, Sebastian, sits at the top. That irritates you?
Mm-hmm. He's had the best car for God knows how many years, and he's also the quickest on Top Gear, so...
So you wanted to come
Every
and do
driver
something
wants
about
to
that?
come. I'm sure all the drivers... I mean, I remember when Rubens came and did the time, we went to driver's brief in Germany, and he brought everyone a shirt. And he gave himself, I beat the Stig, and everyone else, the Stig beat me.
So you didn't do your lap today?
No.
You came down and did the lap many months ago. So who'd like to see Lewis practicing for his lap? Yes. Let's have a look. Here we go, second to last corner. Catches all of our guests out, including one Lewis Hamilton.
Is that me?
Yeah. I only put it on to make all the other guests feel better, because they'll go, oh no, I spun off and now it goes. So, well, at least Lewis Hamilton did exactly the same thing in exactly the same place. Nevertheless, you then lined up to do your lap again.
Mm-hmm.
Who here would like to see it? Yeah. Here we go. There's, of course, the old Liana.
Oh, that's a good gear change. Come on, baby.
Here we go. Yes, we don't use the C apostrophe D for Formula One drivers. You all have to drive that. It's nice to see it back, looking tall and ungainly and slow. I thought you were determined to go fastest.
I was.
Singing, it's like Kimi Räikkönen looking at the flames. Look where you're going! This is not a man who looks like he's determined to go faster than Sebastian Vettel.
Oh, look at that. Didn't even cut the corner.
I'm very impressed. Not surprised, but I'm very impressed. Here we go.
Peace! How's the cameraman?
Hello! Oh, it's close to the tyres. Ooh, a couple of bites of the cherry. Oh, that's nicely done. Actually looks like it handles quite well, bless it.
It does.
And there we are, everyone, across the line. There's no point asking you where you want to come.
Well, you know.
You know where you want to come. Well, Lewis Hamilton. So it was a 1:44 that Sebastian did, and Lewis Hamilton, you did it in 1:40. 2.9. Unbelievable. Unbelievably fast time.
Oh, hey!
Now, so I'll leave it there. Not even concentrated.
Wow. Holy crap.
Please?
I'm really surprised.
Didn't even look like you were concentrating.
You know, it's been months and I've been... No, you guys wouldn't even tell me.
No, I know, we never tell anybody.
And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to be so disappointed in myself if I didn't do a competitive time.
Anyway, he's now hung himself. And obviously everybody here is very pleased to have a Brit back on the top of the leaderboard. When I say everybody here, there is one man who's not very pleased. The Stig. He knew about this time months ago when you did the lap.
Really?
This week, well, he left the country. He went to North Korea to do an experiment. We don't know what. So apart from him, everyone's thrilled. Ladies and gentlemen, fastest man we've ever had. Lewis Hamilton! Well done, mate. Oh, dear, came back. Oh, wow.
Now, a couple of weeks back, we finished our American road trip at the Mexican border. Last one there had to cross over and test something called the Mistretta, which is a new sports car being made there.
Now, Top Gear is not very popular in Mexico because of some comments that were made on the show. And unfortunately, the man who lost that race, and who would therefore have to go into Mexico and test the Mistretta, was the man who made those comments. Our Director of International Relations, Boutros Hammond.
OK, so here we are in Mexico, but it's all right. I have everything under control. You see? an angry Mexican looks in, they'll see Jeremy, and they hate Jeremy just as much as they hate me. Look at me. Power. Oh, everything's rubbish. Except, no, because I am now Jeremy, so they'll still cut my head off, and then... I haven't thought this through at all, have I? I'm not going to bother with that. OK, let's get this test over with as quickly as possible and get out of here. Eventually, I found a place where no one could see me, and I could get on with some serious road testing. So what have we got here? Well, its full name is the Mastretta MXT, and this is the first fully homegrown Mexican car. Now, when most countries make their first car, it's something cheap and practical for the masses. But what the Mexicans have done is skip the intro and gone straight for a sports car. Any similarities between this and an early Lotus Elise are not accidental. It's small, it's compact, leather bucket seats, suede-ish trim here and there. Steering wheel, no bigger than a tortilla, which is a good thing. The interior, the chassis and the body are all Mexican-made, but the 2-litre turbo engine is actually from over the border. It's a Ford, and it makes 250 brake horsepower, enough to take the Mastretta to 60 in 4.9 seconds. Which could be useful if, say, somebody was trying to chase you. Unlike some lightweight sports cars, the Mastretta offers luxuries such as aircon and a stereo. Put radio on. Oh yeah, my favourite, I love this. Despite the equipment, the MXT is no fatty, weighing in at just 1,050 kilograms, thanks to a chassis made of carbon fibre and aluminium. You can see how they've tried to keep all the car's weight between the wheels, which is why there's absolutely no overhang at the back or the front, which is all well and good. Still not sure about the styling, though. Looks a bit like an Audi TT that's been squashed in a vice, and that's a good thing. Very good. Morning. Gracias. Kind of thing Ferrari could learn a lot from. I shouldn't sit in it, I don't want to scratch it. Look at that. Sleek. Yeah. The really good thing about the Mastretta, though, is that it pretty much does what it says on the tin. For a simple, uncomplicated little track day car, you want it to feel like a go-kart. This kind of does. It does grip. I was waiting for understeer then, there wasn't any. The gear linkage, always difficult when the engine is behind you, works very well. But it's not without faults. The bonnet rattles about a bit. The windscreen wipers occasionally set off for a wander all on their own without being asked. The seals around the windows are terrible, hence the noise. And it makes a hell of a noise over the bumps, of which there are a few in Mexico. At £37,000, it's also nearly 10 grand more than a Lotus Elise. And, unfortunately for me, the fuel tank is small. Hola. Patrolo Pumpo numero uno, por favore. Despite the flaws, inside the Mastretta is a good little car, just waiting to be finished. The thing is, we have kind of been here before in a way. James and Jeremy, when they went to China, were road testing their first attempt at a car, and it wasn't brilliant. First attempts never are. But, and who knows, with more time and more practice, one day, the name Mastretta might really stand for something. I think, on the whole, that went pretty well. That car's been behind me for a while now. He's following, isn't he? No, he's following me. Yeah.
Really? Really?
Oh.
Were you just being nice so you weren't beheaded?
No, like I said, it is genuinely quite a good little car, and once they sort out some quality issues, it shows real promise.
Well, listen, the hatchet is now buried, OK? I think, thanks to Banky Hammond, we can now move on. Because tonight we are subjecting the new Kia C''D to many, many very, very thorough tests. And coming up now is the most thorough test of them all. Can you play rugby in it?
Since we were being thorough, we didn't bother with some minor league club ground. but headed instead for the home of English rugby, Twickenham.
OK, I'm going to be captaining the grey team, and the silver team will be captained by a man who knows this ground incredibly well. He drives past it almost every day. James.
Jeremy.
Rules of car rugby.
Yeah, and I've got a question straight away, actually.
Which is?
On behalf of the viewers, I suspect, don't you have to pass it backwards?
In real rugby, yes.
Yeah.
That's not possible.
So we're not doing that. Are we allowed to do this?
What, here?
Yes.
Yes.
Has anybody said hallowed ground yet?
Well, yeah, can if you want.
Yeah, go on then.
On this hallowed ground, we're about to play car rugby.
In our game, the C''Ds will be the speedy backs. And up front, we'll be using Kia Sportages as the hard men, the forwards. So all we need now is a ref.
OK, you ready, James May?
Yeah, I just point out that the referee can't speak, and he probably doesn't know the rules, but yes, I'm ready. As team captains, Clarkson and I were both in cars numbered 4.
And punt! Yes! They're reversing. Look over, frightening them! Ah, lost it!
Forwards, forwards. Here we go. May is ready to go through the gap. Yes! Oh, it's still mine. No, I lost it.
Oh, look at this. He's carrying it. He's picked up the ball and he's running with it.
Bravely, James tried to block my beefy forward.
Right, we can get this back.
Oh! Well done, man. Well done. I'm loving your play.
Then Grey 5 broke free.
Yes, I'm here and ready. Yes! 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 No! Yes! Yes!
What a try!
Having established the C''D could score a try, it was now time to see if it could do the next bit.
OK, time for a conversion. Why does he do that? Why does Johnny Wilkinson do this?
Right, here we go. At Twickenham!
Yes! No, no, no!
Rubbish.
Play.
Come on, winger! Come on!
I should explain, James May is using a diesel, has a higher top speed than my 1.6 litre petrol, but I have better acceleration, less weight. Oh no, this is bad. They're free.
Come on, winger! Winger! Winger!
Nice play, guys. Nice play.
Ooh, violent move there. Must be James. And was.
Keep it in! Keep it in!
Aha! It's gone out. I think you'll find that's a grey throw-in.
What's a grey throw-in?
This is a grey car.
No, but your bloke knocked that out.
He didn't.
He did.
He didn't.
He did.
I'm going to go and ask the ref. Whose throw-in was that? Silver? Grey? Can you point? It's the worst referee I've ever come across.
I told James the ref had said it was a grey throw-in. So now it was time for our first line-out.
This is a very useful feature of the seed. It's small, compact, so you can get a good run-up for taking a line-out. Here we go. And bit of wheel spin and punt!
Oh, push, push, push.
I'm against the bigger man, car.
Use that talk. Ah, they're only front-wheel drive, those Sportages, but they have power.
Come on, team!
Where's the ball gone? There it is.
James had the ball and was heading for the try line.
Dribbling, what's it called in rugby? No, running with it.
But we soon put a stop to that. So now my grey team had the advantage.
Go, number 5. Go, go, go. Ain't no stopping him now. He's on the move. He's in the groove. Yes! Come on, number 3. That is a try.
This is hopeless. We're getting thrashed at this.
Weirdly, my team let me have another go at a conversion.
Right, I'm going for a massive, massive, massive kick this time. Go over! Yes! Yes! It's a big one!
At this point, the ref signalled half-time. And in the dressing rooms, we had the obligatory team talks.
Right, chaps, we're all fine athletes. I think anybody can see that. But there is a lot we can learn from actual rugby players. And this was drawn up for a recent match they played. And this is what I want you to concentrate on in the second half. Mindset. Go for it. Enjoy it. Never give in, OK? And I think we can add a fourth to that, which is ram James May, OK? Ram him whenever you see him. And ram him hard. Really hard.
Gentlemen, I don't want to put too fine a point on this. It's half-time. We're losing. You're a bit crap. Now, when we're on the attack, because we're getting very messy, go up the pitch together in formation so we can pass straight up, but be ready to come back down again. Very important. Reversing if necessary. If not, you can get to the other end and you can quite easily do a handbrake turn around the post. Either side, handbrake turn around the post, up you go again to the top, kill Clarkson. That's all you have to do. Any questions?
We knew as the second half began, we had it all to do.
Right, my blokes need to get in there and batter them.
The lads did just that. And soon, I got a break.
It's a run!
I'm coming in from the back.
I know that's Clarkson trying to tackle me. Yes! That's a try!
Oh, God.
Naturally, I elected to take the conversion.
Please miss, please miss. Oh, he's done it!
Give me that!
Damn it!
May's comeback wasn't the only problem.
Oh dear, this Hello Turf is starting to get a bit messed up, if I'm honest.
And things really weren't helped by the scrums.
Oh no, I'm stuck, I've dug a big hole, I can't...
But on the upside, everything was lovely inside the Kiers.
See, normally when people play rugby, they get hot and they get sweaty, but I'm not having any of that here. Got the air conditioning set just so, I'm not hot, I'm sitting down.
Whilst I was distracted by the Kier, Team May broke through again.
We're on the run.
Stop him, somebody!
This is what we want. Here we go. That's a try. Beautiful.
Worse still, James got a second successful conversion,
Yes.
putting his team ahead.
Oh, they're destroying us in this phase of play!
With just 2 points in it and the rain turning Twickenham's hallowed turf into a muddy skating rink, the play became dirty and violent.
Classic rugby weather.
In say viewers, at this point, I have no idea what Jeremy has said in the rest of this test. I can confirm, though, that the C''D crashes quite well.
Coming in for a try. Oof. Oh, crikey Moses. These things are built like brick lavatories.
Which was good, because on this surface, stopping was becoming a bit of an issue.
Football, that we use to play car football,
Oh, shit.
is well suited to a...
Sorry, that was a total mistake, my fault.
That's not cricket.
It's actually not that bad, it'll buff out.
Despite some injuries, all the Kias were still playing as the match entered its final phase.
Oh, he's on a run!
Oh, come on, man!
Pass it. Don't try and get through. Pass. No!
It's us, it's us! Go, go, go! Yes, 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 looking good!
Oh, don't back up.
Go! Yes, that is a try! You little weep!
I think we've learned two things tonight. Number one, if you want to play rugby in a car, the C''D is brilliant. It's fast, it's agile, and it's tough. But perhaps more importantly, we've learned that grass is not a good surface. I mean, we've only played one match here, and look, the pitch is completely ruined. Absolutely ruined. They're going to have to pave this over, really.
Do you know why they call it hallowed turf? Because it is hallowed. Do you know what hallowed means?
Temporary?
Yes, yes, James, our Father who art in heaven. Temporary be thy name.
Oh, yeah.
I do think we owe everyone an apology.
Yes, you do.
Because we've just shown strong pornography before the watershed.
Sorry? What?
All that handbrake action.
Oh, yeah.
Every single girl watching tonight will be cross-eyed. They don't see two fat middle-aged men anymore. What they're seeing here is Bradley Cooper and Ryan Reynolds.
I'm not sure the handbrake lever is that effective.
Yes, it is. And on that bombshell, it is time to end. Thank you so much for watching. Good night!